What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's going on with the economic calendar going into today, what's happening with the big earnings that just came out, and a massive piece of news that came out for Tesla that caused it to drop in the pre-market. But I'm going to break down how Tesla could still move despite this, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I break into all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and the offer ends very, very soon. Anyways, now let's break down what's happening to Tesla. Tesla has this nice support right here at 182.5 and also at 184.4. And you guys can see that once it hit this support right here, we got a nice rebound. We touched the support again. We rebounded. We touched it again. We're trying to hold. And we're going to see if Tesla could hold this or not. As of right now, I think there's a good chance it will. And we're going to see the market attempts to rebound. But there's something I just wanted to call out about Tesla that ended up coming out a little bit later. So unfortunately, we got some bad news that's making all the headlines. The news is screaming that Tesla's largest recall to date affects more than 2 million vehicles, 2.2 million of these Teslas, and this includes many of the different models out there. It's just making up all these different headlines. So basically, Tesla has an issue. We're going to be watching to see how this is fixed. According to the NHTSA, Tesla has to improve the Model X, Model S, different models from 2016 to 2014. And then don't forget about the Model Y and the Cybertruck as well. The NHTSA basically said an incorrect font size is displayed on the instrument panel for the brake, park, anti-lock brake systems, the ABS warning lights, and etc. And they failed to comply with the requirements of the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard number 105. So that's very, very important. Tesla is going to fix this by releasing an over-the-air software update free of charge with owner notification. So it's over something that minor. The news is going crazy and screaming Tesla has all these recalls, they're this and that. When in reality, all they're going to do is fix it with an over-the-air software update again. And the owners will receive notification letters to be mailed on March 30th, 2024. So that's something very, very interesting. There's also another headline that came out from before about a software glitch that causes backup cameras to go dark. That's very, very minor. They fixed that with another software update. So it's just software updates that fix these issues. Would you call this a massive, massive recall? The thing is, when you say there's a recall, this has a very different connotation, a very different context from your typical car company. So it's very different for Tesla. They don't mention the software update fixes this in the main headlines. They just say it in a very, very tiny section of the article. So this is, like, in my opinion, very biased news, and this is what's causing Tesla to drop the way it is for now. I couldn't have seen this news coming yesterday, guys. There's no way we could have predicted this. So sometimes that happens in trading. But Tesla's holding support, and as long as it holds this, there's going to be a good chance of a rebound. Not to mention the fact that there is bullish potential for it, especially for the markets, which I will talk about a little bit later. Tesla's also going to have to pay $1.5 million to California for its handling of hazardous waste. So it is what it is, guys. This happens. This is not an insane fee relative to the amount of free cash flow that Tesla has. So not the end of the world. Hopefully Tesla improves its practices with this coming out to kind of comply with what the state of California wants. Now let's talk about the market, what's going on with the overall market. The unemployment data came out at 3.7%, aligned with expectations. Everything else was aligned with expectations from earnings, the hourly earnings and the average hourly earnings month over month, labor force participation rate and such. Non-farm payrolls were hotter than expected. This caused the market to dip a little bit, so be very careful with that. And then later on, at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report, the Michigan 5-year inflationary expectations, the Michigan Current Conditions Report, and more inflationary data. So 30 minutes after the market open, watch for volatility once all this data comes out. As a reminder, guys, SPY has over 360,000 calls expiring and just under 850,000 puts expiring. There's a 2.33 puts to call ratio. The majority of people have puts. So what do you think is going to pan out? There's a very good chance the puts are going to get squeezed. Now, on top of this, ExxonMobil and Chevron had their earnings. Chevron actually beat on EPS but missed on revenue. It's actually down a little bit as a result of that. And the quarterly profit fell sharply, hurt by lower oil prices, but it outpaced many analysts' expectations. So they also approved an 8% increase in the quarterly dividend. That's good news for them, but it's still not enough to cause the share price to go up. Exxon is doing fine, though. It beat on earnings expectations, even as lower oil prices weigh in on their profits. And that's what's making the headlines right now. They actually beat on EPS, missed on revenue, but not too bad whatsoever. They also declared a dividend for the first quarter of 95 cents per share. So that's good for them. Those are the main headlines for earnings. Now let's just talk about the charts, what's going on with Tesla and the others. So here's how I'm seeing this go. Tesla's looking a little bit weak on the 4 hour, but we're holding support at 184. We have three main supports: 184.4, 182.5, and then 180 for Tesla. As of right now, Tesla's holding 184 very, very nice. We're going to see if we can try to maintain this level. We're going to be gapping down, so we'll see if Tesla could eventually try to push back up to fill its gap and make its way back up in this range. There's going to be a very good chance of a bounce coming as long as we hold 184. Watch resistance very close to 187.5, so way up here. And once we break that, we're going to be looking for another push towards 190 and eventually 193. In my opinion, I think there's a very good chance SPY has more upside coming. SPY is going to bounce, and I think that this could help the whole market rebound. This might help Tesla try to push back up, so watch and see if Tesla can get it back up of 188. And once we do so, 190 plus is going to be our target, and eventually a break above that area, start pushing to this upper resistance way up here. So I think, in my opinion, the most likely possibility is as long as Tesla holds 184.4, we're going to try to rebound and start pushing back up and get closer to the higher 180s, if not 190, and then start pushing up even higher. Tesla is going to be a little bit weaker than expected because if this bad news didn't come out about the 2 million recall, which the media is screaming about, Tesla would have gapped very close to where we are and started to push up even higher, in my opinion. So because of this bad news, it's acting as an anchor, slowing it down just a bit, but I still think Tesla's going to try to rebound. So watch this very, very carefully. I know, guys, I know it's not what you were expecting, but sometimes unexpected bad pieces of news come out, and not even I can predict them. So it is what it is. We just have to continue from here. For SPY came down a little bit. They're grabbing liquidity down here where we're at 489. If we lose that, our next target is 488. But I think that SPY is going to hold this support very nicely between 480, excuse me, 488 and 489. And I anticipate it's going to be pushing back up towards its highs. So I'm going to be looking for a balance. I think we're going to get a nice short squeeze. And I think that SPY is going to continue to establish this trend, making higher highs and higher lows. So I think could it come down a little bit more? 489 to 488 is where we should base. And we're going to be looking for a nice bounce into the 490s. Watch a break above 490, then watch 491.5 and then 492.5. If we break that, we could be pushing closer to 495 today. But look for a little rebound. I think it's going to bounce very nicely, and I think there's more upside potential coming to SPY. Same thing on the QQQ. We have a very similar setup. Watch 423.5. If we lose that, there's 422.5, then 421 is support, followed by 420. For resistance, we have 423.8, 425, and then 427. I think that QQQ could sell off a little bit more, grab liquidity, could even touch the 422s, but it's fine. I think it's going to bounce and make its way back up to 425 plus and eventually 427. So look for a little drop and bounce. I think it's going to try to push back up. When we watch to see if we can make our way back up to the higher levels. So I think there's a good chance the QQQ is going to bounce. So watch and see if it can base very close to where we are and look and see if the buyers could defend it, which I believe they will. On Nvda could drop a little bit more towards 636. If we lose this, 632 is technically a possibility, but I don't see it dropping that much because we have a very, very nice bullish looking setup of these higher highs and higher lows from this bullish breakout from this structure. So I think that it might base here and then try to rebound into the 640s, or it might drop a little bit more and then rebound. Watch resistance at 642. 645 and 647 and 650. I think it might drop and bounce, drop a little bit more and then bounce. So I think a bounce is coming. I think there's a good chance Nvidia is going to try to rebound. I'm going to be looking for a nice bounce on Nvidia very, very soon. For Aapl, Apple, I think we have to be watching 180. We'll see if it holds 180. That's going to be key for the markets. Can Apple hold 180? Their earnings were quite good, except for the Chinese sales, which caused it to drop, and also sales projections. Watch 180. If we lose this, 178 is our next critical support. My gut tells me it's going to base at 180 and try to push back up above 181 and possibly try to push up to 182.5, which could drag the market up. If Apple starts pushing back up and tries to fill this gap, or at least half of it, that's going to be bullish for the markets. So watch to see if we could break 181. I think there's a good chance we're going to base at 180 and start pushing up higher. That's what I think is most likely going to happen. So that being said, guys, I'm sorry about Tesla. Unfortunately, we got the recall news, which caused it to drop a little bit more than expected. I couldn't not have predicted that. No one could have predicted that, guys. It happens. But despite the news, as long as Tesla holds above 184.4, I think there's a very good chance it's going to rebound a little bit more. If it drops a little lower, we could even test 182 and then bounce, but I'm not really counting on that. I think there's a good chance it's going to try to base very close to where we are and try to push its way back up into the mid 180s. Make our way up to 188, and then higher levels to get to the high 180s. So I think there's going to be a rebound. I think the market's going to help Tesla. But just to be safe, make sure you watch your levels and do what you have to do, guys. Tesla's trying to base right now, so let's see it hold support. And with that being said, have a great day. I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Have a great day and peace out.